Great, thank you. Get my paperwork together. Well, good evening, everyone. This is the regular council meeting for Langley City, Monday, June 29th, 2020. I'm Mayor Val Vandenbroek. Welcome. Before we start the meeting tonight, we just want to do a little shout out for Canada Day to everyone, and we hope that everyone has made some plans for Canada Day on Wednesday. We're all so fortunate to live here, and we have a lot to be thankful for. We're all proud Canadians that embrace living and working with people from all walks of life, and we are a truly mosaic country. So we're hoping that you can get out and have a picnic in the park, or watch a virtual Canada Day party, or do some crafts with the children or something, or get out and have a walk in one of our beautiful trails and take some wonderful pictures. And just enjoy the day and love being Canadian. So from all of us here to all of you out there, can we all just say Happy Canada Day? So Happy Canada Day. Great. Thanks, everyone. As you can see, everybody is wearing red to support Canada Day. It's great to see. So begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Kainai-Tsawwassen and Semiahmoo First Nations. And I will do some introductions. Like I said, I'm Mayor Val Vandenbroek, and with me I have Councillor Albrecht, Councillor Rosemary Wallace, Councillor Terry James, Councillor Rody Storterboom, Councillor Nathan Bahal, and Councillor Gail Martin. And for staff, we have Darren Light, who's our Director of Corporate Services, Kelly Kenny, who's our Corporate Officer, Francis Chung, our Chief Administrative Officer. We also have Kim Hilton, who's our Director of Recreation, Culture, and Community Services. I believe we have Carl Johansson, who's our Director of Development Services. And I believe we have, is Hyrod filling in for Roy as the Director of Engineering? Maybe, I'm not sure. So there you have it, folks. So let's start off with the adoption of the agenda, that the June 29th, 2020 agenda be adopted as circulated. Any mover and a seconder? Councillor Albrecht. Seconder on that? Councillor Bahal. Any changes or additions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carries. Okay, regular meeting minutes from June 15th, 2020. That the minutes from the regular meeting held on June 15th, 2020 be adopted as circulated. Any corrections or errors? Councillor James, Councillor Wallace. Seeing none, call the vote. All those in favor? Carries. Special pre-close meetings from June 22nd, 2020, that the minutes of the special pre-close meeting held on June 22nd, 2020 be adopted as circulated. Any corrections on that? Need a mover and a seconder? Councillor Albrecht, a seconder to that? Anyone? Councillor Wallace? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. All right, up next we have the mayor's report. So we have a public hearing scheduled for July 6, 2020 at 7 p.m. And then the next two regular council meetings will be July 13th, 2020 at 3 p.m. and July 27th, 2020 at 3 p.m. And I believe first up tonight, we have our recreation update with Kim Hilton, our Director of Recreation, Culture, and Community Services.
Thank you, Your Worship and members of council. I'll just begin by sharing my presentation. It's the update for our June. And we're going to start with our fantastic Adventures Day Camps. We actually did start today. We welcomed both preschoolers and school-age children to Douglas Recreation Center in Douglas Park. We have 10 one-week-long day camps that we're offering at the park, 8:30 to 3 p.m. We do have before and after care available as well for people who need it. So the day camp leaders have been working hard at creating a creative, fun, and adventurous day camp for the kids this year, recognizing that they won't be doing the fun outings that we typically do. For more information on the day camps, you can phone 604-514-2866. And one of our friendly clerks will be happy to assist for registration. Just a reminder that we do have on our Langley City website under the Recreation tab, we have Recreation at Home. There's many links to different resources that people can do from their own home or in parks or outside their houses, whatever they like to do. So things like arts and crafts videos for people of all ages. Some fundamental skill development for kids. There's videos on that. So if you have time and you're interested, please check langleycity.ca under the Recreation tab, Recreation at Home. And happily, I was up early this morning at the pool for 7 o'clock lake swimming, and we had a full house. People are very excited to be back at the outdoor pool. It looks fantastic. We do have registration online for people who are wishing to do lake swimming. It is filling up quickly. All the spots are filling up quickly. So again, your best bet is to go onto langleycity.ca under the Recreation tab and link onto the recreation swimming there. So again, we are open Mondays to Fridays for lake swimming from 7:30 in the morning for an hour, and then again at 9 o'clock at night. It's nice to see the staff back, though it's limited, and the pool open. People are excited. So also we have public swimming several times a day, a couple times in the morning, a couple times in the afternoon, evening, Monday to Friday, and then Saturdays, the weekends, it's just public swimming. So again, space is limited, so I encourage you to go on to langleycity.ca and reserve your space. Outdoor fitness classes. Happily, the weather has been cooperating with us, so we've been able to offer a variety of fitness classes at Douglas Park. Like swimming, it is pre-registration, space is limited, and we have been selling out. So if you're interested, you can phone 604-514-2940 or langleycity.ca under the Recreation tab. Youth programs have also been running since June 1st outside, which we're very proud to be running these programs. And a quick list of activities that are happening this week. Taryn has expanded the programming to start in the afternoon and then another session later in the early evening. So again, langleycity.ca, we have weekly challenges, a summer swim, art in the park, outsiders, teen time, city explorers, and outdoor sports. So there's lots of things for youth, grades 6 to 12 to do in our lovely city here. And sorry, starting on Thursday this week, we will be offering pop-up play. It's a modified version of our traditional program that we've been running. And we have staff that'll be popping up in different parks with bags of goodies that they can sign out to families or children that wish to participate in a different activities or sports. And then at the end of the play, they turn them back in. It goes into a dirty bin and comes back and gets all cleaned up and sanitized for our next pop-up and play. So you can see this activity is running Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 9:30 to 11:30 in a variety of parks. And I believe Tara will be sending out via email or Instagram maybe just before the first park starts so that people can know where our staff will be, trying to respect the 50 people maximum limits that we have. And then aquatic fitness. Now this is a popular one as well. We have both the deep water and the shallow aquafit. And I think the deep water, all the bookings that are online have been booked right through to mid-August. So very popular again. And like the other activities, it is online booking in advance, and langleycity.ca under recreation, you'll find the link. And our park ambassadors were out today for the first time, walking the trails through the parks, connecting with our citizens that are out there recreating, answering questions. You'll see them throughout the summer. This is in partnership with our federal partners who are helping fund this program through the summer grant. So you'll see our staff, they're in city uniform or city clothing, and they have lots of information that they connect with people. And again, we just want to remind people to stay active, but stay safe, keep that distance, physical distancing. But please drop by our parks and our facilities, the outdoor pool. We are here to help you have a fun, safe summer. And that's it for my update.
Great. Thank you to you and your staff for being so fantastic in getting everything up and running so quickly. We really appreciate that. Councillor Pahal, go ahead. Can you unmute? I don't have control.
No, I know. It looks like I have now unmuted. I just quickly, Ms. Hilton, this is really great. You mentioned reservations. Now, like for the pool and everything, this is required, not optional, right?
We have for the pool reserved 3/4 of the spaces to reduce the number of people lining up to come into the facility. So we have very limited space and a drop-in basis.
Okay.
However, the fitness classes are all reserved in advance.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was my question.
Great, thanks. Anyone else? I don't see anybody else with their hand up or waving at me frantically. Councillor Wallace, I do, actually.
Hello. Okay. Just in question to what parks are going to be used during the summer, and I know somebody mentioned, I think it was Councillor Pahal, about Rotary Park, and just wanted to know if that was one of the parks that's going to be used as far as for the expansion of programs, I guess the pop-up programs.
Yes, definitely. The pop-up programs will be hitting all the parks throughout the city. Some of even the more obscure parks that aren't often visited, to try and gain some popularity, and so people become more familiar with our parks. Rotary is definitely on the list. We did review it for a possible location for fitness classes, but we lack storage there, and I don't think it's going to work. We also need the facility or staff to print off class lists just prior to the program starting. So Douglas is a good fit for the fitness, and maybe City Park with the outdoor pool operating, but not Rotary for fitness.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Councillor Storteboom. Sorry, we gotta unmute.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. And thank you, Ms. Hilton, for your report. I know that we're not doing anything for Canada Day and that we wish everyone well for this special day. But moving forward with our recreation staff and the general public, I would just like to know what the feeling is around confidence moving forward. Are we excited about the prospect of opening up things again and entering into this new opportunity for recreation in our community just in time for summer, or is there still a lot of trepidation around this? Are we taking proper precautions considering the current virus?
Okay, there we go. I didn't have control of my mute button there. We have had a wide variety. As you know, we are doing a survey online, which will close tomorrow. And we've had a wide variety of responses from, they're so happy we're open, they can't believe we closed in the first place, and to they're not comfortable coming. So those people who aren't comfortable coming, I imagine, will not be joining us. We are taking all the precautions, making sure we have the physical distancing. We're sanitizing all the high touch points. we're reducing greatly the number of people that can come within our Al Anderson pool, for instance. Our maximum number for a public swim is 71, whereas in the past it's several hundred people. So I think we're doing what we can while still ensuring people are able to get out and have some fun and activity and exercise in a safe, responsible way.
Good.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hilton. And just to be sure, confidence is high among staff. Is everybody reporting for work? And we're moving forward with that confidence projected to the general public?
Definitely. They've had their training. They've gone through our COVID safety plans. The pool staff have had to go through additional training in terms of rescues because of the non-contact. And many of the staff were saying how excited they are and how much, they didn't realize how much they missed the pool. So they're very happy that the pool's open, for instance, and our other rec staff that are out on the parks are excited as well.
Thank you very much for that good report. I really appreciate hearing from you. Moving forward, of course, it's an exciting time for us, and I feel confident too that we're going to be okay as we go into this next phase of recovery. Thank you very much for your report.
Okay, seeing no one else, I believe Councillor Paul Albrecht, you were up next with Discover Langley City. There we go.
There, the unmute button. So this is a report for Discover Langley City, prepared by Christina Gervais. She's our manager of operations. So in administration, they continue to work with the industry organizers to stay up to date on the state of the effects of COVID-19 on the tourism industry and make plans for recovery. Some of the virtual meetings they've attended is Destination BC, a weekly Zoom meeting with industry updates, Vancouver Coast and Mountains Regional DMO meeting, Tourism Industry Association of BC meeting with a daily briefing. The industry associations have been providing numerous Roads to Recovery webinars covering subjects related to the impact of COVID-19 on tourism, particularly as we look forward to welcoming visitors back. Each webinar has covered a subject related to the travel market, the visitor experience, business operations, digital marketing, and more. They've been very helpful in working our way through the crisis with additional access to knowledge and skills. In 2019, the MRDT year-ending report has been submitted to Destination BC. The report is a requirement of the MRDT program and includes an overview of the accomplishments from our 2019 tactical plan. It also includes our reviewed financials and budget. If you're interested in reading this report, please request a copy and we can make sure it gets to you. We continue to make a priority to connect with the tourism stakeholders by phone and by email to check in and to also provide them with current information on programs available to aid their business, including WorkSafe BC's webinars and links to subsidies. The government of BC recognizes the important role that community destination marketing organizations play in providing critical tourism planning and marketing support for BC communities and tourism businesses. In support of our work, Discover Langley City was given a one-time grant in the amount of $26,300 to help cover immediate operational and critical staffing costs from May to October. For marketing, we have continued to pause all our marketing campaigns and have switched to focus developing new tourism experiences that fit with the COVID restrictions and adhere to the messaging we are getting from Destination BC. The phase 2 messaging is to explore BC local. While adventures in British Columbia beckon, it's not the time to travel outside the community. Stay close to home and follow the latest health recommendations. Get information and future travel inspiration on discoverlangleycity.com. Now we've entered phase 3, so there is a little more travel. Let's say restrictions have lessened a little. So, but it's still important to stay safe. So these messages have been guiding the social media posts where we continue to have a strong presence. An amazing imagery has been shared to a very receptive and kind audience. This is a very delicate act as users have very strong opinions on tourism related to messaging, and it's not an easy task to create and share content at the moment. So we've been working with our surrounding communities and new startups to help develop new tourism experiences that encourages getting out in a safe way and exploring your own town. With this in mind, we have reconnected with the Bead Trails organization, who is setting up a new route from Fort Langley to White Rock. The Bead Trails movement is growing, creating a trail system that connects people, communities, and experiences is what the Bead Trails is designed to do. Planning trips that are fun-filled and affordable helps people discover and explore new places while collecting whimsical beads for their memory bracelets. We'll be reaching out to all our stakeholders with an introduction and hope to have a good representation from the city. And that's the report from Discover Langley City. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions? Councillor Wallace.
Thank you. Thank you for your report and all the work that Discover Langley City is doing. Just your last one, I'm just intrigued by it. The bead. I'm just curious. My curiosity hat is on, and maybe my art hat is on. What does that look like? And I guess just going to your website is something that we would be able to find out more information.
You know that, thank you, Councillor Wallace, and through the chair. The website would be the best location to find out more details about it. And it sounds like an interesting little venture for family and an opportunity to get to know your own backyard, so to speak, from, like they say, Fort Langley through to White Rock. So I would recommend going to the website to check that all out and making sure that I don't give false information, because I am not quite totally up to speed with it. And I apologize for that. I should be, but at the same time, these are all new things, and everything is fluid and everything is moving in a fairly rapid pace. And these ideas are you know, germinating from organic places. And I think these are great ideas that are thinking outside the box and contributing to a limited marketing opportunities. So that's all I have to say there. And
then just a follow-up question on another, just in regards to the $26,023, was that to go towards just staffing or programming?
That was earmarked for immediate operational and critical staffing costs from May to October. So essentially just running the organization and making sure that someone's home, minding the store, and making sure that information is being relayed as things develop and as we move forward.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you make that report available just to council?
I sure can.
That'd be great, thank you. I mean, just send the link or whatever, that'd be great.
Yeah, I get Paula to send it out to every member of council.
Great, thanks, Councilor Albrecht.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I don't see any hands up. So we are going to move right along to committee reports. Councillor Wallace, I believe, would you like to speak to your report?
Thank you, through the mayor. I guess recommendation that the environmental task group recommends that in the spirit of cooperation, the city of Langley continue to provide and maintain the existing water service to the Nikamekel and Elementary School garden at no cost for as long as the school district maintains the garden. So in part, I guess it's LEPS is in partnership with the school is reopening that garden, and the request came to see if the city could open the water line. So just wanted to bring that forth to council, just for transparency and to see if there was any questions.
Great. Did anybody want to second that motion? Councillor Albrecht? Any questions or discussion on this? Councillor Albrecht, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, and want to thank the task group for bringing this forward. I think food security is an important issue and something that needs to be taught at the earliest stages possible. And the Nickel Elementary School is a prime candidate and to take this over and continue on with both a learning, hands-on approach to growing food and nurturing that, getting back to nature. And this will be a pretty minimal cost. I think it's in the area of $75 to $100 maybe a year in water usage. So it's not a huge cost, and something that I think the long-term benefit is sure outweighs the short term. So thank you.
Great, thank you. Nicely said. Okay, any other discussion or comments on that? I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously. Great, thanks everyone. Okay, and moving on to the bylaws section, we have our commercial uses update. I believe Mr. Johansson, did you want to speak to the report?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This interim zoning bylaw update proposes to add new commercial use definitions and separation distances between certain commercial uses. This is primarily in response to a letter from the Downtown Langley Business Association, which notes a high concentration of tattoo and spa establishments in the downtown area and requests council to consider further regulation of these establishments, not because they are opposed to these uses, but in the interest of achieving a balanced retail, restaurant, and service business environment. The intent of this update is to foster business variety in the downtown and maintain a good balance between specialty retail, restaurants, and personal service uses by way of creating a more dispersed pattern of personal services and other uses, including tattoo and vape establishments over time. This supports the vision of the Downtown Master Plan, which calls for focusing retail and restaurants in the downtown core, and supports a continued presence of pedestrian-friendly storefronts in the downtown. These updates will also help staff to better respond to an evolving personal service and spa industry and create clear definitions to guide a future update to the city's business licensing bylaw. This is also a key first step towards considering new personal service definitions for such things such as salons, and potentially adding location regulations for those as well as part of the broader zoning bylaw update, which is currently underway. If this proposed amendment is adopted by council, and similar to previous updates involving 400-meter separations, it will not impact existing tattoo and vape store businesses. They will still be able to operate uninhibited. This bylaw would also not preclude new tattoo establishments and vape stores from opening in the city. It would only direct these uses to more widely dispersed locations. Based on this, staff recommend that council consider first and second readings of this bylaw. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor Sturdivant.
Thank you. I'll move that motion if that's required.
Okay, and who would like to second that?
I'll second it and like to ask a question.
Yep, go ahead, Councillor Martin.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just wondering that I know that it's not going to affect the current businesses once this bylaw goes through. Are they going to be notified before third reading that this bylaw is coming forward, the ones that are already in place?
Yes, through the mayor to councillor, we, in order to have the public hearing, there will be a public notice in the newspaper and through our website, and we can also provide notice to affected businesses as part of the notification.
Thank you. I think it would be a good idea to notify the current businesses. I mean, who knows whether they're planning a move? You know, they may have to do it sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Martin. That's a great point. Anybody else wishing? Councillor Albrecht, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I just want to really reinforce the messaging that Mr. Johansson put out there very clearly. But I just want to make sure that it gets sent home. We are currently reviewing our zoning bylaw, and we're looking at a number of definitions and trying to get them up to date to what is currently out there. And this is an ongoing thing, and our bylaw is probably overdue for this work, and we're taking it on as part of our OCP review and evaluation as well. So this would be just an interim measure in order to help us get a better handle on these definitions and help staff with future enforcement or licensing provisions. Again, I want to reiterate that there's no change what is currently out there and currently existing and currently functioning. This just basically puts a freeze on some of these things until we get a better understanding, better definition, and better set of consistent rules out there for businesses so that they know what they're up against and how things are going to be going from this time forward. So there will be a public process, and I think that is an important component of making sure that we do a fulsome review and conversation about these and any type of businesses in the downtown core. So thank you.
Great, thank you. I just had one question for staff. Is microblading considered tattoo shop? I'd just like some clarification on that.
Yes, through the mayor. I'm a little bit, microblading might be a term that I'm not 100% familiar with. If it does involve, I guess, permanent makeup application, that sort of thing, that's something that is being considered as part of the tattoo definition for now. But that's something that we're going to look into further because, like I said before, it's an evolving industry. And it's something that we would like to do a little bit more consultation with and understand what that is. And perhaps you'll probably tell me what exactly microblading is so I can provide perhaps a little bit better response.
We can talk later. Thank you. Councillor Sturgeon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I would like to take this opportunity to compliment the Downtown Langley Business Association for their leadership and guidance over the years and turning our one-way section and downtown core area into a very desirable, attractive destination for a lot of small businesses and the customers who choose to shop there. The Merchants Association has been especially demonstrating leadership over the years in defining the characteristics of this community and specifying when certain businesses are more or less proliferating and more variety is required. So over the years, the leadership has been very much appreciated, and they've done a terrific job. And likewise, I would like to thank them for bringing forward this resolution for our consideration, and I support it wholeheartedly. Thank you again, and thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Pahal.
Thank you. And just for clarity, because this is a zoning change, this has a third reading. So there's a public hearing, a third reading, and then a final reading?
Yes, through the mayor, yes, that's correct.
And the public hearing will be on a different date than the third reading, correct?
We look to, through the mayor to Councillor Pahal, we look to schedule the public hearing, I believe would be, if the readings are given today, July 20th would be the date of the public hearing. And the next regular council meeting would be the July 27th. So council can consider that.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Okay, anything else? So we are going to vote on a motion that the report dated June 24, 2020, entitled Commercial Uses Zoning Bylaw Update be received for information. And two, that council consider first and second readings of zoning bylaw amendment number 168 bylaw 3130. And we already had a mover and a seconder on that. I believe it was Councillor Albrecht. And all those in favor? Any opposed? And that carries. So one bylaw down. Next up, we have the first and second reading of a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw to update and add new commercial use definitions and separation distances between certain commercial uses. So the motion is that the bylaw cited as zoning bylaw 1996 number 2100, amendment number 168, 2020 number 3130 be read a first and second time. So I need a mover and a seconder on that. I have Councillor Hall and Councillor Albrecht. Any more discussion on that, folks? Councillor Sturtevant?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I was just wondering if Mr. Johansson would be kind enough to bring us up to speed on this particular zoning amendment bylaw. It's been in the pipe for a while, and it might be nice to know why it's taken so long to get to this stage, if that's all right.
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor Storteboom. You're referring to the 40-unit apartment building?
Yes, that's right.
We're not on that yet.
Oh, excuse me.
We're on the zoning bylaw amendment.
3090?
3130. We are on number 1. So was there any further discussion? We talked about the bylaw on the under A, and now we are on number 1, which is the actual zoning bylaw amendment. So I will call the vote. All those, does that make sense, Councillor Sturteboom?
It's not entirely clear, but I'll go with the flow. I'm just hoping to get that information about this property.
That will be coming up next. Let's
Thank you very much.
First, great.
Yeah, I'll speak to it when the bylaw is up.
Great.
Madam Mayor, just so you know, I think there's a little bit of confusion because we don't normally do a motion of receipt and report with a bylaw, but this time we did have a report. So there was the motion for receipt and to proceed with the bylaw. So it's just a little bit different.
Thank you, Ms. Kenny. Okay, so any further discussion on bylaw 3130? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? That bylaw carries. Okay, now we are on to your bylaw reading, Mr. Sturteboom. Final reading of a bylaw to rezone the properties located at 5398, 5410, 5448, 208 Street from RS1 single family residential zone to CD 66- comprehensive development zone to accommodate a 40-unit, 4-story condominium apartment development. The motion is that the bylaw cited as zoning bylaw 1996, number 2100, amendment 158, 2018, number 3090 be read a final time. Mover and a seconder on that. Councillor Albrecht and Councillor Sturteboom. And discussion, Councillor Sturteboom, you're up first.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Please excuse me for racing through the agenda and thinking that we were further along than we actually were. Again, if I may, I would call on Mr. Johansson to give us a little bit of background on this as to the current status of this application and why it's been on the books for quite so long. If you could, please.
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor Sturteboom. This one, I believe the applicant was considering their options after third reading, whether I believe they were considering selling the property. Since then, they have reconsidered and they're bringing forward the bylaw and the development permit for adoption, and they wish to proceed with the project. So it's good news.
Thank you very much. May I just follow up by asking what kind of a time frame they are proposing, if we know?
Through the mayor to the councillor, I don't have that information, but my understanding is that if council adopts a bylaw and approves the development permit, they are looking to proceed with the project.
Thank you very much for that information. It would be nice if that moved forward expediently. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any comments? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that one carries as well. And then we have the approval of the development permit number 16-18, that the development permit application DP 16-18 located at 5398 5410 5448 208th Street to accommodate a 4-story 40-unit condominium development to be approved subject to execution of a development servicing agreement in compliance with the conditions outlined in the Director of Development Services and Economic Development report. So I need a mover and a seconder on that. I got Councillor Storteboom and Councillor Albrecht. Any discussion on that? Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that one carries. Great. Okay, on to administrative reports, development permit amendment application, DP 0220. Mr. Johansson, did you want to speak to this one as well?
Yes, please. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This application is to amend the development permit, DP 1217. It's being brought forward by the developer of the Legacy Building over on Park Avenue to expand the landscaped area along the rear lane and relax visitor parking requirements. The developer is seeking to provide additional landscaping about 2.5 meters between the ground floor units and the rear lane. And in order to do this, the originally approved perpendicular or 90-degree parking spaces along the rear lane between the underground parking entrance and the secondary entrance closer to 204 Street, they need to be reoriented to parallel spaces to provide that extra width for the landscaping. This proposed change would result in the loss of 6 visitor parking spaces from what they have originally proposed, which is 17, so down to 11. The zoning bylaw requires 14 parking spaces, so the proposal here is a relaxation of 3 spaces from the zoning bylaw requirement. City staff have reviewed the parking study that was submitted and attached to the report in support of the proposed relaxation, and staff are satisfied with the report and the recommendations. And the requested variance of 3 spaces amounts to an overall parking relaxation of about 2.6%, which is well within the range of reductions that staff are considering as part of the zoning bylaw update, which of course will be brought forward to council in the near future. So staff recommend this development permit amendment application be approved. Thank you.
Councillor Bahal first and then Albrecht. Or did you want to first and second that?
I was just
Okay.
moving it.
Excellent. So moved and seconded. Did anybody want to discuss? Councillor Storteboom.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. And this is a very exciting project, and I'm happy to see it come to our city. The challenges in that particular area have been known to us around parking for quite some time. As you may recall, a neighboring property introduced parking, sort of a underground parking under Park Avenue. So it was very unique. I think it's especially important that we manage that site efficiently, and I trust that these new recommendations are in keeping with what is best for the immediate area. I do see a trend away from people driving cars in the downtown core especially. I am concerned, however, about the laneway. and how restrictive that is and how it is impacting other properties in that immediate area during this time of construction and moving forward. The hydro poles are being moved around there, and they are more or less being moved from one side of the laneway to the other. And I was just curious to know if we have any control over where those hydro poles go, and if we can require the applicant to put the electrical wires underground.
Yes, through to the mayor, to Councillor Storteboom. I would have to check the servicing agreement stipulations for the project, but it's likely that the hydro, as part of the reconstruction of the project, will have to be dealt with appropriately. And that's something I could bring back to council or provide an update via email regarding the hydro servicing in that case. With this proposal and with the original proposal, of course, those rear lanes have to be of an appropriate width to provide access to multiple properties and also access for fire rescue service. So point noted, and that's something I can come back with.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johansson. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for letting me just follow up and say that I appreciate the development, and I will, in the spirit of cooperation, support this amendment. But I would request very strongly that we have a look at how these hydro poles are going to be impacting the neighboring properties and their parking restrictions as a result of this. So moving forward, it's not just about that site, but how that site influences the immediate area and the other neighbors as well. We also have some concerns from some of the neighbors about trades parking there. So if we are going to follow up, maybe we could have a look at that as well. Thank you very much.
Mr. Gill, did you have a comment to that?
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a short comment with regards to BC Hydro's practice of relocating the poles and undergrounding. Usually they do the design and they send it to engineering department and we review it. We don't approve. All we do is just to see whether, as a result of the changes that they are proposing, we are having some conflicts with our underground utilities. And the same is for this particular case. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. Mr. Johansson, did you want to follow up with that?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, Mr. Gill provided the commentary there. I was just going to say, in general, with all our development applications, we do look at the hydro, the opportunities for immediate undergrounding or undergrounding at a future date, which involves pre-ducting and that sort of thing. So just wanted to note that that is something that is looked at. But like Mr. Gill said, that's something that we have to work with hydro on. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that clarification from staff. Okay, so the motion is that development permit amendment application DP 02-20 by JMC Properties to permit site plan changes and a reduction in the number of visitor parking stalls from 17 spaces to 11 spaces for the 69 unit apartment development at 20416 Park Avenue be approved. All those, Councillor Storteboom?
I was just voting in favor.
Okay, thank you. Call the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? And that carries. Okay, and we also have an extension of time limits for in-stream development applications. And I believe, Mr. Johansson, did you want to speak to this as well for clarification?
Yes, please, and I promise this will be my last agenda item. Yeah, so this report is being brought forward for council to consider extending time limits for the completion of an in-stream development applications, the timing of which have been affected by the pandemic situation and the related physical distancing requirements and other impacts. In the last few months, development services staff have been approached by several developers with in-stream applications requesting extensions to the time limits that are outlined in Council Policy DS-10, which is attached to the report. So the thought is that instead of having council consider individual extension requests, and given the unusual circumstances, staff recommend that council consider a blanket extension given the challenges that developers are facing. Accordingly, it's recommended that the dates for completion of in-stream applications that have received third reading or development permit approval be extended to 8 months from the original approval dates or 1 year from council's consideration of this report, whichever is greater. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So the motion is that council approve extended time limits for in-stream development applications in accordance with Table 1, Attachment 2 to the report dated June 22nd, 2020. Can I get a mover and a seconder to that? I'm Councillor Albrecht and Councillor Stortaboom. And did Councillor Pahal, did you go ahead, and then Councillor Albrecht?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a question regarding the table. This is just for the development applications that are in Table 1. So if we receive a new one, it will revert back to our policy. I'm assuming that's a...
Yes, through the mayor and Councillor Pahal. Yeah, given the unusual circumstances we're in, we're just looking to apply it to what's in Table 1 attached to the report, and we're hoping that as things hopefully ameliorate here, we won't have to consider this. We do have a number of applications that are pending and are with us. One that just received third reading a few weeks ago. We have another one that's being teed up for advisory design panel. There is a lot of interest out there as well. We're working with a lot of developers with pre-application discussions. There's a lot of interest in our new OCP. So I think it'll be strong. I just think that few months that we had there really threw a wrench into a lot of timelines and the ability to get work done.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Great, thanks. Councillor Albrecht and then Councillor Stortaboom.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. And I want to thank Mr. Johansson for bringing this forward. I think this is a proactive way of showing that the city of Langley is here to help in the economic recovery. And I would also suggest that additional or new applications that come in, that staff, if they feel with along working with the applicants, that an extension or be appropriate to have a little longer timeline attached to that particular application, that be brought forward as an amendment that can go along with. I know that the COVID is not going anywhere soon or quickly, and we're going to be wrestling with it probably for probably another year. So if it seems appropriate and applicable, I think that we should be, again, entertaining and encouraging economic stimulation and economic, let's say, flexibility to applicants to make sure that we serve our community and get the kind of housing needs and the kind of development that we want to have in our community that will benefit everybody in the long run. So thank you, and I'll support this.
Great, thanks for those comments, Councillor Albrecht. Councillor Stortaboom, you're up next.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Johansson, for bringing forward this resolution. I speak in support of the resolution because we are in uncertain times right now, and we have to make reasonable choices for the unreasonable circumstances that we face. So that measure of variability for the developer to work in our community hopefully makes it more attractive for the development to be in our community. But I think the key driver for me in this resolution is that specific performance is required. And I am particularly interested in seeing specific performance from all development applications with regard to a certain timeline. And if they are falling behind, then they should ask for an extension and explain themselves to council, in my opinion. So I speak in favor of the resolution, and I thank you for it, but it's specific performance that I sincerely appreciate moving forward. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I don't see anyone else, so I'm gonna call the vote. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, that carries. Okay, on to new and unfinished business. Motions and notices of motions. And I mean, I believe Councillor Albrecht, you have a notice of motion?
I'll bring the, do you want the notice of motion right now?
Yeah, if you want to do a notice, and then we can do the motion at the next. Yep.
So this is covering a request for emergency operating funding from other orders of government. So I'll read it out, and I know Ms. Guinea has a written copy of this, so it will be incorporated. So whereas local governments are on the front lines of some of the most challenging facing Canada, and whereas local government revenues are collapsing and unanticipated costs are soaring, and whereas without financial assistance, local governments may be forced to cut vital local services to our residents and community rely upon, and whereas public transportation makes our communities more livable, affordable, accessible, and fights climate change, therefore be it resolved that the federal and provincial governments be requested to provide emergency operating funding to protect vital local services, including public transportation, public health, and emergency services. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, and on to correspondence. We have 3 pieces of correspondence on the agenda for information that were received in response to correspondence the city previously sent. So first off, we had the response from Minister regarding requests for official public guidance on pedestrian protocols. Second, we had a response from Minister regarding requests to provide emergency relief funding for TransLink. And third, we had a response from Minister regarding a subsidy request for sustainable packaging for the food and beverage industry. And then, so new business, motion to hold a closed meeting, that the council meeting immediately following this meeting be closed to the public, as the subject matter being considered relates to items which comply with the following closed meeting criteria specified in section 90 of the community charter. 1, a part of council, sorry, Councillor Wallace, did you have something?
Yeah, I did. If we could, of a motion, if I'm able to speak on that, and what we've received, and just a suggestion putting forward to the city as far as information in regards to, I know they, in that information, they said when you go to the grocery store, now that you can use your own reusable bags. So I just wanted to know if that could be put up on the website and shared through other means, as far as and then also maybe to take it back to our Downtown Business Association, if that's something we can look at, as far as, I know that, for instance, one fish, two fish, is you could go in there and you could use your own packaging. So just in moving forward, just want to just ask and suggest that.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Did any of the staff want to clarify that, or do we need to at this point? Sorry, I can't see anybody. Nobody's got their cameras on.
Madam Mayor, to Council Wallace, yes, we'll take that under consideration and put it on the website and correspond with the DLBA.
Great, thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor Wallace?
Yeah, thank you. It's a start. We have a long way to go in regards to the packaging. So yeah, that would be great as a start. And I know, just commenting on the picnic, picnic program that's going on with Discover Langley City is great, because they're trying to be sustainable, but we still need to go further. Thank you.
Great, thanks for those comments. I agree. Any, Councillor Albrecht, did you have? No, you were unmuted, so I wasn't sure if I had done that or you had done that, or it's one of those crazy Zoom meetings, right? Okay, so new business. We're going to start again. Motion to hold a closed meeting. That the council meeting immediately following this meeting be closed to the public as the subject matter being considered relates to items which comply with the following closed meeting criteria specified in section 90 of the community charter. 1, a part of council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered relates to or is one or more of the following. E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements. If the council if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. And I, the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. So, mover and a seconder, anyone? Councillor Albrecht, Councillor Sturdivant, all those in favor? Carries. Motion that the meeting adjourn. Councillor Wallace, Councillor Sturdivant, all those in favor? Carries.